Welcome back to Marketing Adventure with Jackie. As promised, I am going to go over the various types of retail stores. So let's get on into this episode because there are so many that I have to go over with you. You're listening to Marketing Adventure, the hub for business, fashion, marketing, and other CTE educators who integrate marketing into the learning experience. I'm your host, Jackie Walker. Each week, I'll cover marketing education concepts, strategies, tips, trends, frameworks, and other information to equip you to connect your classroom to digital natives while cultivating an engaged learning environment. So come on into the room where your favorite beverage, snacks, and even your cell phone are all welcome. I'm really excited to share the various type of retail stores because so many times students, young people, they really don't think about all the various types of stores. So I want to be able to break down the variety of stores and, especially the ones that are fashion retailers. So what I'm going to cover is 4 different areas of retailers. I'm going to cover your fashion retailers, store within a store, non-store retailers, and non-fashion retailers, just so I can make sure I cover the gamut of retail stores, even for other areas. So let's get into talking about those 4 different types of retailers. The first one that I'm going to share with you is the fashion retailers, of course, because that's what we're here to talk about. I'm going to cover 9 types of retailers for fashion specifically. The first one is the department store. Now, department store, when you think of a department store, what may come to mind is Macy's or Dillard's. But department stores have been around for decades, and there used to be Sears and Montgomery Wards and all of those stores like that. But the main ones that exist today are JCPenney, Macy's, and Dillard's. A department store has different departments, which hence the name department stores. So they'll have a department for every type of niche, like juniors, boys, girls, women's, and even within women's, they'll have misses, plus size, or they may have active wear, maternity, and then within men's, they may have your big and tall men, and then just your regular men sizes. And then they may have other areas such as shoes, home, which would include the sheets and towels and things of that nature. A major benefit of department stores is that a family can go and shop at one location and be able to purchase something for everyone in the family because a department store has an area for every age group, infant through adult to home goods to sometimes things for appliances or those things that you may need for outdoor living, all of those different things. So a department store is one type of fashion retailer. The next fashion retailer type is branch retail stores. Now, a branch retail store, I looked high and low for this, and a lot of stores do not follow the branch retailer setup, but what a branch retail store is that the main store has the offices, the management offices within that store. So like the human resources, it could have the creative team, the marketing team, all of those different offices are run from that main store. So they have the corporate setting and they have the store setting. And then the branch stores just have the store settings without all of that management area within the store itself. It's outside of the retail managers themselves, but it doesn't have like the HR, the marketing, and all that within the store. So branch stores, I really looked to make sure that I could find all the examples of branch stores as it relates to fashion. And the two that I mainly came up with are Macy's and Neiman Marcus. Macy's main store is in New York, and Neiman Marcus's main store is in Dallas, Texas. And then they have stores that branch off from that are within the same cities or regions. But, of course, like Macy's is everywhere. Neiman Marcus is in multiple states as well, but just not a lot of stores. So that's what your branch stores are. It's just the type of setup for the main office and that's connected to a store. And then just like a tree, those limbs, they branch off into other areas and it just has the store itself in there. The next store is the flagship store. Now, for fashion retailers, the flagship store is going to be that store that is the main attraction. It is the store that new items will be introduced to, release of new collections. You may have celebrities to come in there to promote their product that's being carried by the store. So it is the store that is going to be the best looking store, the biggest store. It's going to have everything. Stores like Macy's in New York. We have other stores. Neiman Marcus has its flagship store in Dallas. You have most of the flagship stores, as I was researching this, are in New York. Like you have Lululemon, you have Gucci, Tiffany and Company. Now, Nordstrom itself is located in Seattle, Washington, and then Tommy Hilfiger is located in California. Those are the main ones that came up when I was researching for flagship stores. Again, a flagship store is the center of a company's attention when it comes to releasing products and having the most up to date look and featured collections and everything in it. And most times when something new is released, especially if it's like a designer collection or some major item for that retailer, it is released in the flagship store. There's a press release, news story, all that done from the flagship store. And then it goes out to all of the different stores within that chain. The next store is a junior department store. And what may come to mind for you is a small, because junior means like a smaller version, especially when you think about a person. You have your senior and you have your junior, and the junior is the smaller person of the two. So a junior department store is a smaller version of a regular department store. And they tend to be less than 100,000 square feet. And they don't carry as wide of an assortment of items or clothing in it, but they do have their main lines that they're connected with. They do tend to carry the variety within, say, from infant to adults, but they just don't have as big of a collection. They don't have as many brands and things of that nature. So some examples of a junior department store is Kohl's, Bealls, Belk's. Those are junior department stores. They're smaller. They do have the different categories of clothing, but they just don't have the wide range of a selection within those categories. The next one you may be familiar with are discount stores. Now, discount stores come in a variety of discount types, but you probably are most familiar with the big box, which are Walmart and Target. Those are considered discount stores because they're lower priced. The next one would be your off-price retailers. Now, you may not recognize the name as off-price retailers, but they are your TJ Maxx, your Rosses, your Marshalls. Those stores carry brand names at a lower cost because the buyers were able to buy overstock. They were able to buy things that have gone out of, that are not necessarily in season, but they're able to get those brands at a lesser cost so that they can in turn sell them to you at a discount. So those are your off-price retailers. You also have your warehouse stores. Now, there are not any warehouse stores that I'm aware of that are specifically focused on fashion, but you do have your warehouse stores like Sam's and Costco that are now carrying apparel. So some people go to those stores specifically for apparel that is carried within the store. And then your other store that you may be really familiar with for discounts are your factory outlets. These factory outlet stores generally have a retail store in which they carry discounted clothing that used to be at the retail stores, or maybe sometimes it never even made it to the retail store. It went straight to the factory outlet. But those factory outlets are designed to offer you a discounted price on the merchandise that you would see in the normal retail stores in the mall, or that are freestanding stores, what have you. But they are considered factory outlets because they are discounted. And again, sometimes the merchandise does not make it to the regular retail store, and those items may be designed specifically for the factory outlet store. Specialty retailers are the stores that you're probably most familiar with because most of us have a particular niche of clothing that we like, and we tend to go to our favorite store that carries those items. Specialty stores are those that are very niche with their audience. Let's say Victoria's Secret lingerie, bras, very niche. Your tennis shoe stores, very niche. You have your juniors clothing. There are a lot of stores that cater to juniors, like Forever 21, H&M, things of that nature. So those are all specialty stores because they have a very specific market. Those stores have niched down on their merchandise categories to be very specific, and they are not interested in offering, let's say if they're a junior store, they're not trying to offer baby clothes. They're not trying to offer maternity clothes. They're very niche. You do have your maternity stores. You do have your infant stores. You do have your children's stores. So all of those are considered specialty retailers. Now, within the specialty retail area, there are three different stores that I want to bring to your attention. So you have your franchises, and it's not a whole bunch of fashion retail franchise stores, and they're not very mainstream, but I did find three. One is very mainstream, which is the Gap, and the Gap does not have franchises in the United States. All of their franchisees are overseas, and they're in like 40 different countries with their franchise setups. And then you have a store that's called Apricot Lane, and then you have another one that's called Monkeys. So those all allow anyone who fits the criteria and has the money to open up a franchise store under that name and sell that merchandise as their own store. So those are your franchisees. And then you also have chain stores, which most of the stores that you see in the mall are chain stores, which just means that they have multiple stores across the United States and even overseas. And those stores sell exactly the same thing. They have the exact same setup. When you walk into one, you've seen them all. So those chain stores, it just means that there's a store here, there, everywhere, and it's like a chain going across the states of stores. So those are your chain stores. And then you have your boutiques, and those boutiques are usually mom and pop setups, solo owner entrepreneur setups, and those are like one of a kind. So those are specialty because those boutiques generally are focused on a very particular category of clothing or accessories and are not looking to sell to the masses. So those are your specialty stores. The next category is called category killer. And these stores get their names because they focus in on a very specific category. They're even more niche than a specialty store. They focus in on a particular category. They monopolize that category. Let's take, for instance, shoes. DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse. They carry everything from baby shoes to adult shoes, boots, tennis shoes, dress shoes, all kinds of shoes. So they have I wouldn't say they have a monopoly, but they are a place you can go to when you think about any type of shoe. And it's like one of the first places when I'm looking for shoes for work. When I was a teacher, I would go. My shoes came from DSW Warehouse, and I found all sorts of other shoes, sandals, tennis shoes, everything, because they carry everything. As far as other category killers, you can think of things like Academy Sports and Outdoors, Dick's Sporting Good. You can also think about Toys R Us, even though that's not a fashion retailer, but that's one of the main stores that come up when you think about a category killer. Although I believe Toys R Us is no longer in existence, but you have those stores. Burlington. When you say the word Burlington, what comes to mind? Coats and jackets. That would be the place that I always shopped for coats, because I knew that they had a wide variety of coats, and I would definitely find something for me and my children. So category killers are those retailers that find one particular category and they make sure they have a wide gamut of selection of goods for those categories. And they want to be the first person or the first store you think about whenever you're looking for that particular item. Hey, adventurous educator. I just want to take a quick break to ask, is this your first time teaching fashion marketing, or do you need a boost in your curriculum? Well, look no further. I have the Ultimate Fashion Marketing Class Bundle. It's packed with 4 vibrant presentations, fun and engaging activities, quizzes, and 4 major projects for an immersive semester of fashion exploration. And it comes with a pacing guide for an 18-week semester. Additionally, each assignment has detailed student instructions and suggested pacing times so that you can tailor the time frame to fit your teaching schedule. For more information about this must-have bundle, go to marketingadventure.com and search Ultimate Fashion Marketing Class Bundle, or simply click the link in the show notes. Now back to the show. Now, this next retailer that I'm going to mention, you may not think of it as a retail store, but it is. Even as small as it is a retail option, and that is a kiosk. A kiosk is a little shop that's set up in the middle of the mall. As you know, when you're walking in the mall, that middle section that you're walking through tends to have these little carts that are set up selling a variety of items. A lot of times you'll see jewelry, you'll see accessories, you'll see t-shirts, you may see some little outfits depending on if it's some independent retailer. Have a smaller space, less cost to get their products out there, but a kiosk is a retail setup. So that is a type of store. The last type of retail store I'm going to mention is a pop-up shop. These have become so popular these days because, let's be real, retail stores kinda are dying out, are fading because so many people are shopping online, and because the overhead to run a retail store is high. So you'll find that a lot of times when a designer wants to release a collection, or even if a celebrity wants to come out with something, or a big brand wants to come out with something, they'll do pop-up shops because they can go out and reach their audiences, and create this demand for their products by saying, I'm going to be here for a limited time. And so you have people that bum rush that place and create lines going all around the corner and the block and everything, because they want to be able to take advantage of that pop-up shop. Nike has had some really unique pop-up shops where they create a space that looks like a shoebox, a Nike shoebox, and they'll put those in various places. And they had a little thing where they were going around like on tour to various spots, opening up these pop-up shops. Of course, we've all heard of Kanye West and his pop-up shops that he'll have. And so there's so many different designers and celebrities and brands, like I said, that will do a pop-up shop to bring notoriety to whatever it is that they're doing. It could be the release of a new collection. It could be some kind of event or promotion that they have going on. So there's a variety of reasons why you would do a pop-up shop. For those smaller designers, it's just an opportunity for them to release their product and have people come to see their collection, to see what they're all about, because they don't have a retail store, because they may not be in a retail environment. They're not big enough to have their name in a retail store. So a lot of times they'll just do their little pop-up, maybe have a fashion show that goes along with it, but it's a way to bring attention to their brand. So that is my final fashion retail type. Now, the next type of retail setup that I'm going to talk about is a store within a store. And it is exactly as I said it was. Sometimes you'll see it listed as SWAS. Okay, so that means that there is a bigger store that allows for a smaller store to set up a smaller version of what that retailer may look like when they're not within another store. For example, Neiman Marcus, they allow Armani and Gucci to come in and set up their store. And generally, the operation of that store that's within the bigger store is solely operated by the smaller store. There is no influence from the bigger store. It's a leased space, and that smaller store is responsible for all of the operations, the employees doing their own promotions, ringing up their own sales. They don't mix the money with the bigger stores. So it's just really a small retail outlet that's set up within a bigger store. And a lot of times they do this because maybe those two brands, those two stores have something in common. They may have the same target market, or they may be doing a collaboration, or it could be to bring more attention, like the smaller store is wanting to bring more traffic and attention to their store, or that smaller store could realize that, hey, this bigger store has the same customer and we want to get a slice of that pie from that customer. So Target, for instance, has multiple multiple store within a store opportunities or collaborations with other stores like Starbucks. When you go into Target, I mean, like to get you a Starbucks and walk around and shop, that's ideal, right? They also have Ulta, CVS, Pizza Hut, and Apple. So there are some advantages to being within a store like Target, because you know people are going to go there to shop for clothing, home goods, their personal goods, and all that kind of stuff. So why not have a place where they can grab something to eat? Why not have a place where they can grab something to drink? Why not have a place where they can get their goods like Apple products, or even get their prescriptions? So it's a very smart business move to set up a small store within a bigger store to pull on that traffic and be able to take advantage of that traffic and that customer, that revenue that you can make for your store. Other examples are Bloomingdale's, who have smaller stores like Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, DKNY, and Kenneth Cole within their stores. J.C. Penney has Sephora within their stores. Kohl's has Sephora and Amazon within their stores. Dillard's has Mac within their store. So those are all really great opportunities for the smaller stores that are within the store to take advantage of that traffic and bring in more revenue for their company. Store within a store is a very smart business deal. Now, my last two areas that I'm going to talk about are going to be very quick and small. There's not a lot to them, but I just wanted to mention them as a type of retail type. So you have your non-store retail types, which are going to be like your e-commerce that has become very popular for um, companies to pop up and only have an online option. So, your Fashion Novas, your Sheins, all your Temus, all of those companies are non-stores. They are a company that offers purchases of fashion online, but you won't find a store, a physical brick and mortar store. You also have your mail order, which these days we don't have a lot of mail order. Back in the day, it used to be Sears and Montgomery Ward. They would send out a catalog and you could buy from those. You don't really see that a lot because of the internet. But you also have your in-home sales, which there are companies that still go around and have representatives that come into your home, like Paparazzi and some other accessory companies that still sell in a in-home environment where they have these parties. You invite your friends over and they demonstrate all of the merchandise, and people make purchases while they're at your home or later on with that particular salesperson. So that is another non-store type of retail selling. And then you have your multi-level marketing, which is the same pretty much concept as the in-home parties, except for a lot of times they don't do in-home that much anymore. It's mostly, you talk with a person, one-to-one personal selling, and online. A lot of times you'll see people online promoting their goods or what have you. But multi-level marketing is when there's one person who grows a team of people to make sales for whatever the product may be. Don't find it a lot with fashion, but you may find some accessory items that are done like that, like Paparazzi is one of those MLM type of companies. So there you have it for your non-store retail opportunities. Now, as we round the corner on our discussion about retail types, I don't want to leave out the other type of retail stores that aren't necessarily focused on fashion or don't have anything to do with fashion. But I do want to mention these type of retail stores because they are retailers. So you have your warehouses, again, Sam's and Costco, even though they do tend to carry some apparel merchandise, they are your warehouses. Then you have your general merchandisers, which are more like how stores started out way back in the day. When you had your general stores, they carried, your food items, your home goods that you may need. So they had some of everything. You can go there and find clothing and all of that. So that's what your general stores are, which are your Family Dollars, your Dollar Generals, your Dollar Tree stores, or in my area, that's what we have. In other areas, they may be called something else, but those are your general merchandisers. They just carry a variety of goods for you to conveniently purchase in your neighborhood. These are all like neighborhood stores. And then you have your convenience stores, which are again neighborhood stores, but they generally just carry things that you may need, like your cereals, your milk, your bread, things of that nature. They don't carry clothes and things of that nature. They just are a convenience store for you to go in and quickly get an item that you're looking for. Then you have your supermarkets. These are your grocery stores where you actually shop for your food items and your home items like your detergents and things of that nature. And then your last one that I like to mention is your drugstore. So your drugstore is where you go to get your medicines, your prescriptions, your cold medicines, your health and beauty aids, and they do carry a small variety of food items that you would normally like get at a convenience store. And they tend to be a little bit higher price. So I want to say that about convenience stores and your drug stores. Those places tend to be a little bit higher price because of their convenience. Your general merchandise stores, those stores tend to have lower prices because they're on a discount model. And your superstores your supermarkets are where you're going to find just your moderate price things. You can find anything from low price to high price, but mostly your mid-range price items. And they're always having sales to have promotions to bring you into their store. So those are your different types of non-fashion retailers that kind of round out the other type of retail stores that you may be familiar with and use on a day-to-day basis. Now, I know I covered a lot with the four types of retail stores because there are a lot. As I mentioned before in episode 48, retail stores are a lot. And I'm sure there are some retail types that I have left out because you have your dealerships, you have different industries that have different types of environments for people to shop in. Just to mention the four different type of retailers that I mentioned today, you have your fashion retailers, you have your store within a store, you have your non-store, and then you have your non-fashion retailers. I hope this has been very beneficial for you. I hope you learned something today and that you'll be able to take this back to the classroom. I do thank you for joining me here today at Marketing Adventure with Jackie, and I look forward to you coming back for more episodes. Now, I do want you to tune in next week because that's going to be my 50th episode, and I am going to have a 50 surprise for you that's going to be focused on Fashion Week, because we're in the midst of Fashion Week right now. So why not have a 50th episode with 50 things about Fashion Week? Come back. I look forward to you being here. I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day. Thanks for listening to Marketing Adventure. Remember to subscribe, rate,
you'll have opportunities that I get. It's not a normal cluster.
You think would benefit from the information shared here today. If you have any questions or want to connect with me, find me on Instagram at Marketing Adventure. All links and resources discussed in this episode in the show notes at marketingadventure.com.